Okay, and welcome back to another Jamblast podcast. I'm going to pick up where I left off last time with Miss Sade. Now, went over Sade's Life, Promise, Pride, and Love, which are her first four albums: Sade Diamond Life, Sade Promise, Sade Stronger Than Pride, Sade Love Deluxe. And they all were wrapped, the greatest hits of those were wrapped into one album called The Best of Sade. And that album starts off with a bang. It starts right off with Your Love is King, and that's directly from her first album, followed by Hang On to Your Love and Smooth Operator, as well as Jezebel. And so, Jezebel, when we get to Jezebel, that's when we start switching gears and going to her second album, Promise. And so after that, you got the Sweetest Taboo. It a crime, never as good as the first time. Now, the song Never as Good as the First Time on the Best of album, it's remixed a little bit different. The music is more, it's not as electric piano tuned. It's got more of a band sound, and so it has a little bit more depth to the music. So again, best way to listen to the best of Sade would be, I would completely agree with vinyl, but any other way, such as CD or MP3, etc., is just as good. But always the vinyl, because it has that more in depth, especially when it comes to the band and hearing all the acoustics. And now after that, you have Love is Stronger Than Pride. Of course, that's from her third album, Stronger Than Pride, followed by Paradise, then Nothing Can Come Between Us, and that leaves off the Stronger Than Pride album. Then we hop right into her last album, which is Love Deluxe, with No Ordinary Love. Again, that was a very strong hit, and really put Miss Sade on the scene. Then the next song, Like a Tattoo, Kiss of Life, and again, that is a very strong song that, again, made Sade just extremely popular. I still love it to this day. It's in my top five, definitely, of best Sade songs. It's known for, as I say, baby making, you know. So if you get a chance to, though, listen to it on vinyl. Do so. If you have really good headphones, you could try listening to CD or MP3, and especially if you have high end headphones, so they can get that depth of acoustic. After Kiss of Life, it's followed by Please Send Me Someone to Love. Now, I believe Please Send Me Someone to Love was a song that was specifically for the Best of Sade album. So it wasn't on any other album. It was kind of an addition song, a new song to help promote the Best of Sade. And it really fits in well, because you really wouldn't know that that song was not on any of her previous albums. And so Please Send Me Someone to Love was like an extra bonus. Then after that, it follows Cherish the Day again. That was off of Love Deluxe, as well as Pearls, also off of Love Deluxe. And that rounds out the Best of Sade album. It's one of my favorite albums because it's the hits, hit after hit after hit, and it flows very well. Her next album is Sade Lovers Rock. Now, Sade had took somewhat of a hiatus between the Best of Sade and Love Deluxe all the way to Lovers Rock. So I believe it was almost a decade, if I'm not mistaken. It was very close for a full album. So between Love Deluxe and Lovers Rock, it was at least a decade. And the CD came out, and I had to immediately get it. Of course, I was already in love with Sade and her music, and so when Lovers Rock came out, I just had to get it. Now, it is known, especially in the different markets, the European market and versus the U.S. market, that over time Sade's music's changed, and she's even said that herself. She said that they've done the blues, they've done the jazz, they were doing the R&B, and then they were taking it into different places. And so, if you've noticed, her sound was sounding more R&B and pop. And so, Lovers Rock was the first album that really came out that showed that the band was moving on from just having the jazz and the blues, and they were taking on new genres and new forms of music and seeing where else they could go besides the nightclub scene or the cafe scene. And artists do that. They grow, they change, they evolve. And so I believe that's what this album was. It was an evolvement from where they had been. And so I believe at that time, it was well received. However, there started to be a separation in the markets, especially between the U.S. and Europe. The U.S. had started. Sade and her band started gaining way more popularity in the United States. She wasn't necessarily losing popularity in the UK and in Europe. However, because the tune was changing and becoming more pop and R&B, it was more of a different sound. And so the European markets versus the American market, there was a difference. And so her album started selling more in the Americas. And so, worldwide, Sade always did very well worldwide. The first song on her album, Sade Lovers Rock, is By Your Side. I love the song. It has very good acoustics. It has a guitar. I believe it's a guitar playing. I don't know if it's a specific type of guitar, but it's slow, and it's not super slow, but it's a very nice ballad. Even the music video. The music video was it starts off with her. It looks like she's just in a meadow with a tree, and she's picking a piece of fruit. And throughout the video, there's different types of images, such as like a snowstorm, all the way to the ending, which I know a lot of people were thrown off because it feels like you're in this magical world, and then at the end, she's standing in the middle of a highway with a flower that she had from in the meadow area, and she's standing there, and it looks like she's offering. She has a basket in one arm, and she has a flower in the other, and she looks like she's offering it to people driving by, and that's where it ends. And so it's a very interesting video. I get it. I understood. By your side, it was taking you to that place, but also bringing you back to real life. It was also to bring you not just into the fantasy, but out of the fantasy and back into your own life, and how the lyrics play to us. And so I love it. I love By Your Side. It was a great hit, great way to start off the record. And so the next song is Flow. It's a different type of song compared to where she used to be. It's got, again, more guitar and bass in it. It's got some more beats in it, and she's really, really exploring where she can go with her voice. Not necessarily belting out, but she still is very strong in her singing. And to me, it's more of a lower end of her voice, like as in she's not hitting a bunch of high notes consistently, even though she does have some high notes throughout the song. And then there's a male singer with it, and during parts of the song, and her voice just blends very well. She's very good at picking up people that can sing the harmony in her songs. I noticed that since the best of Sade, the gentleman that sung with her on Never as Good as the First Time. Oh, and I believe she kept him. I believe he became part of the band. If not, it was him or one other person. They sound very similar, but at that point, that person was there, a part of the band, and I'm not sure his name, but you can tell his voice because what it does is it makes Sade's voice sound, it influences it. It makes her voice come out even more. It's like, when you have salt and pepper. The pepper's great, and it pushes out the salt. That's how I believe Sade is with her bandmate. He does a very good job. He sounds really good. I wouldn't be surprised if he ever came out with his own music one day. But he's having a good time within Sade's band. And so back to the song Flow. It's a nice song. It's a second in line, and it's more of a slow beat. I want to say maybe a little bit of R&B, maybe a little bit of pop. But it is totally different from her previous type of genre and type of music. Then Flows, followed by King of Sorrow. That is another wonderful song. It's almost like a new age blues, but it's not too bluesy. It's actually it's more like a ballad blues. And the video of her, she's talking back to being in a nightclub. She's singing about she's cried everyone's tears, and she feels like she's the king of sorrow. She's been through it all, and she still made it. She's still there, but she's used to it. She's used to the pain. And so King of Sorrow is another lovely ballad. She actually is a lot stronger in her voice in this song. She really belts those notes out, especially near the end. And she holds out a lot of the notes throughout the song. So again, if you ever get a chance to hear this one, this is another one that's really, really good. Just the By Your Side and King of Sorrow are really good songs to hear on vinyl. Anything that has that in-depth for acoustics. Flow is very good, but it has more of the bass to it. So if you have something that can amplify the bass, such as in a stereo system, that you could get like a subwoofer or something that would really amplify the bass, that song would come out just as fine. Listening to it, not necessarily through vinyl, but By Your Side and King of Sorrow, very acoustic. Recommend anything with that in-depth feel to it, or in-depth sound to it. Then King of Sorrow is followed by Somebody Already Broke My Heart. Another nice ballad. Another slow ballad. Has a little bit of a guitar in it, a little bit of bass in it. It's a very nice song. I like it when she remixes that song. And she will remix it in Never as Good as the First Time during her concerts. So the best time to hear actually Somebody Already Broke My Heart, it would be during her concert. If you ever can pick up her live album, that would be wonderful, because she mixes in Never as Good as the First Time near the end, and it's wonderful. They coalesce very, very well. Definitely, it's like they play into one another. So another great song, Somebody Already Broke My Heart, and it's placed very nicely on the album. After that is All About Our Love. All About Our Love, I love it because it reminds me of paradise like type music. It's more of like the calypso. It's more of the island type music, but it's slower. It's a slow ballad. Um, and she, again, throughout the song, she sings a little bit more deeply, but she still is singing out the notes. She does go up and down the scales a little bit, but it's a beautiful song. All About Our Love, again, is an acoustic one with a little bit of bass, but recommend it vinyl. If you do have to play it over a sound system, something with a subwoofer to help it out a little bit. But other than that, this is a great song, and it's a more cheery song towards the middle of the album. All About Our Love, she's talking about literally the relationship and how unfailing it is, how deep it is, and a lot of times I think she's talking about her own love life, not just singing a story. After All About Our Love is the next song is Slave Song. Slave Song is very deep. Slave Song is very deep, and it's not the same as any of her, much of her music before. It's got I don't know how you can, to me, it's like a beatnik slash calypso or something. It's really interesting how she has the song. It's almost like she's reading a poem. She's reading a poem but singing it at the same time. um, Teach my children, and such. It's definitely rings out when you listen to it. Again, the lyrics, if I'm not mistaken, are teach my beloved children I've been a slave, but reach for the light continually. So she's really going in depth with her song, really brings thought and feeling into the song, about struggles, and using those struggles as an example, as an uplifting example to help people, to see your way through. And so, Slave Song it's a very interesting, it's a different tune, and it's put again near the middle of the whole album. And so it's almost like an introduction to the second half of this album, which is Lovers Rock. So the song does fit nicely. It's for this part two, now of this album. I kind of believe that this album is a part one and part two. It's like the first half is going to be your R&B, slow ballads, and that island music, and then it's gonna fall back to a different route where she's gonna take it to. But it's also gonna have another poppy slash islandy ish calypso type song later on. And so the next song after Slave Song is The Sweetest Gift. I believe The Sweetest Gift was wrote to her child. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that it's a lovely ballad. It's a very slow song. There's not a whole lot of acoustics in it. I believe it's a okay. I believe it is maybe like a guitar, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe it's almost like a lullaby. So the sweetest gift. It's a nice slow lullaby song, and I believe it's to her child or about her child. Any way you hear this song, it will be phenomenal. She sings it really nicely, especially in concert. She also does sing this song in concert. So if you ever get a chance to hear it, wonderfully, she does a very good rendition during her live for her live audience. After The Sweetest Gift is Every Word. Every Word is really a song that I believe she's feeling like every word that this person's telling her, she believes. It's the strength of a relationship. And she talks about, every word you say brings it all back to you. I think that I believe she's talking about the relationship, and that it's about the relationship and being in love, but it's also, I want to say that it's about disappointment too. So she's, giving it to him, giving it to the person that she's in a relationship with. She feels like she's even been treated like a stranger, but she's, giving the same love, like the love hasn't changed, but she's almost feeling like the relationship has, but it's also trying to bring the person to back to light, like, hey, this relationship, you know, is it's it needs to work, or it's going to work, or come back to the relationship, come back to love. So every word is a nice song. It's got again a little bit of guitar, but it starts off really slow, but then it starts continuing on and has more acoustics. So if you do get a chance to listen to it, I recommend listening to this on vinyl or something that has the in-depth for the acoustics. And then after every word is Immigrant. It's another song that, again, Immigrant is the next song. And I'm just trying to remember by memory. I believe it starts off with picking, and I don't know if it's a harp or a stringed instrument that's being picked at, but it's done very beautifully before it gets into the song, and where she talks about, I believe she's talking about, the struggle of racism, of being black, because she's talking about, he didn't realize just how bad it was until they didn't even want to touch his hand. They didn't want to even. He reached out to give change, but it was like they pulled their hand back. They didn't want to even give him the change, or they just. It was a recognition of being treated differently, and having to be strong through that, and understanding how hard it is to live in in that, like, whether it be segregation or racism. And so Immigrant, it's saying, like, the person is not an alien or anything, but they're being treated wrongly, and you know they are being treated. Some people even would say, immigrants are treated badly. So this is like kind of in reference to being treated badly, like as an immigrant. And it doesn't make sense, but she's talking about it. It's one of her times where she's kind of talking more about political justice, in society. She's given a story here of the of interpretation and what it is like. And so the song is beautifully sung by Miss Sade. She sings it very well. She's very strong throughout the song. It touches you, especially lyrically. If you listen to it lyrically, the best way to hear this song is, again, on vinyl. The next song is one of my favorites on her album. It's more of that kind of jazzy, a little bit beatnik slash calypso slash the Islander. It's called Lover's Rock. And she's talking about, again, love. Her love interest, the lover, is the rock that she clings to, and sticks with me through the storms and such. It's beautifully written. It's another a highly acoustic song. So if you do get a chance to listen to it, once again, gonna go with vinyl, or something again along those lines that has that in-depth of feel and sound. Do listen to it if you get a chance to. It's a wonderful song. It is basically the title of the album, Lover's Rock, and the song is very beautiful. It's very nice. It's the second to last song on the album. The last song on the album is It's Only Love That Gets You Through. This song is interestingly placed. It's placed at the end, and it's a slow song, and it's got kind of like I don't know, like a record skip to it throughout the song, but it's done purposefully. It's just how the song is. And so it's a new direction. Again, this is all new. I think that it's lovely. She does a really good job. She talks about basically what the title of the song is. It's only love that gets you through. So those struggles, those pains, those issues throughout life. It's love that gets you there. It's love that gets you through those. so you can see the light of day. And so if you ever get a chance to pick up Sade's Lovers Rock, do so. You would very much enjoy it. It's not like her first four albums. So if you're more into her jazz, blues jazz feel, then you're going to love the first four albums. If you want to hear her starting to pop into a little bit of different types of music, including more R&B, and more calypso / island, that's where Lovers Rock, where she starts taking this turn. So a great way to end the album. It's only love that gets you through. Moving right along, we're going to go to Soldier of Love. Now, again, there was yet again another hiatus between Lovers Rock and Soldier of Love. And I believe this time it was another decade, or it was similar length of time. And so when Sade Soldier of Love came out, I was ready. I was, once again, I was like, oh, it's about time. I was ready for the album. I had to get it immediately. I believe I got 2 different copies because just because just because I could. Okay, I wanted to pause and go back to, before I continue to talk about Soldier of Love, there was another album in between Lovers Rock and Soldier of Love. It was Sade Lovers Live. Now, basically, it was another greatest hits. It was her live versions, of course, of her hits, but also with songs from Lovers Rock. So that's why it was Sade Lovers Live. It had a lot of the songs were done. Some of the songs were even remixed. I know one song in particular was Paradise. Had more of a guitar rock feel to it when she remixed it, and so it's a very good album. And if you got a chance to see her live, I know it was an excellent concert. The album included Cherish the Day, Somebody Already Broke My Heart, Smooth Operator, Jezebel, Kiss of Life, Slave Song, The Sweetest Gift, The Sweetest Taboo, Paradise, No Ordinary Love, By Your Side, Flow, and Is It a Crime? And so that was another nice album. Again, it was her live versions, another best of / including her latest album, Lovers Rock. Now moving back on to Soldier of Love. And it begins right off the bat with an excellent song. Again, here goes Sade diversifying her music. They continue to evolve and change. And The Moon in the Sky was another one of them. It was a really, really good R&B-ish hit, but a new neo. It was like a neo R&B / very acoustic song. Loved it. Loved the song. And I believe she's talking about, again, love in a relationship. So she's using a lot of lyrics, the moon, the sky, the stars. She's being very descriptive about the love, and she's being very descriptive about the relationship, and she's also talking about suffering again in the song through pain, because to me it seems like sometimes that other person drops the ball, and so she's kind of once again stating that within the relationship and how important the relationship is to her. So, and that she ain't gonna let you go, and she repeats that at the end. And so if you get a chance to listen to it, or when you do listen to it, again, it's very acoustic. So if you can listen to vinyl or even live, those two are the best options. Hopefully Sade will do another tour. Hopefully. We shall see. Hopefully another album, hopefully another tour. There have been rumors that she has recorded more music. She had intended to go ahead and release an album and possibly go on one last tour. However, I'm not quite sure if that was just rumors, but there has been really good reputable rumors about that. But with the current situation with the pandemic, who knows if that will ever become for a fruitration, it'll ever come to light. The next song on the album is Soldier of Love. That's exactly what the name of the album is entitled, and the whole song sounds exactly like you would think it would sound. It sounds very militaristic. It sounds to me, it harkens back to even other artists such as like Rhythm Nation and such, but it's talking about love. It's talking about, again, struggle. However, she's using that struggle to look for the light. You know, she doesn't want to, give up. She wants to continue on. She wants to be a soldier for love. She wants to uh, utilize that every day. And so the lyrics say it all. Listen to those lyrics. They're very deep. She's been torn up inside and been left behind, but she's still trying her hardest. She's doing her best to stay alive. And so that really harkens to us as well, through the struggles, especially now. I mean, goodness gracious, with the pandemic going on and with things happening in the world. It's almost like the song hits during those types of times. So it's a very lovely song. She is matching the music. So she's not necessarily stronger than the music in this album. She kind of matches her depth and her tone and her projection to the music. So she's not overpowering the music, but she's allowing the music to flow and her song to flow. The next song after Soldier of Love, I believe, is Morning Bird. It's another. Um, it's a slower song. It's got tambourine in it, and so again, very acoustic. It is not very lyrical compared to a lot of her songs that she has. It's almost like a toned down version of what she normally sings. And so the music's slower in it. Again, it's got tambourine in it, a little bit of piano, and she really projects. This is one of those songs that she's going to belt out some notes and sing. And so if you hear this song live, that's one of the best ways. Again, vinyl, anything with in-depth sound as well, that will help. But Morning Bird is a nice third single on the album of Soldier of Love. And then that song is followed by her next single, Baby Father. I'm not quite sure if she ever released Morning Bird as a single, but I do know that the next song, which is Baby Father, she did. And I like the song. It's, again, harkens back to like the island calypso type song. It's got kind of like a Rastafarian feel to it, a little bit of sax, a little bit of the tropical vibe to it. The music video is very colorful. It's very lovely. It brings you there, brings you to the island. It almost, and it talks about, I want to say, for me, it talks about her talking to either her child or a child. And she's talking about life, and she's talking about love, and talking about, she's also giving a description of herself or the child. And so it's a very nice song, very upbeat. And a really nice song to add as a fourth song to this album. Again, it's very acoustic. It's different. It's in a different direction than, again, her previous albums. So it's a good way of the whole band exploring where they can go with their music and sound. And it's a wonderful addition to the Soldier of Love, the album. The next song is Long Hard Road, and that is, again, I want to say it's a slow guitarish, mid to slow guitarish, and it's so not a whole lot of different acoustics in it, but there are a few acoustics, and she talks about the long hard road ahead, but a voice inside me said, you know, there's something that you need to know. It's gonna be all right. And she repeats that. You know, it's kind of like an uplifting song. You know, that you, again, another uplifting song, another, you may have struggled, but you're gonna make it out, or you have made it out. Look at the accomplishment. Look at, you know, you did have a hard road, but you're out, you're done. And so Long Hard Road is a very good, very nice song. Now starting towards to get to the middle of the album. After Long Hard Road is Be That Easy. Be That Easy is kind of like it's a slower song, but it's kind of like a contemporary modern, in that contemporary modern genre. So it's not necessarily blues, it's not necessarily jazz. It harkens to the blues though. It harkens to like a New Orleans sound is what I get from it. But Be That Easy, um, like how she starts off, even lyrically, you baby were like the sky, you held me up to let me fly. That's lovely. Lovely lyrics there, talking about either relationship or even her parents, but um, talking to her or talking to us. So it's a very beautiful song. If you do hear it, listen to it. It's got whistling at the end because it's kind of like a folk song too. If you do get to hear it, I don't think there is a specific way to hear this song. So any way you can hear it would be fine. The next song on the album is Bring Me Home, and that is a very nice song. It's a little bit up faster tempo, and so she's got a little bit more lyrics to it. Some of her lyrics are put me on a plate with petals and a fire and send me out to sea, turn my angry sword against my heart and let me free. Those, I mean, my goodness. You know, you listen to the lyrics and the way she sings it like she's, again, talking like giving us a story, kind of like in a club, kind of like in a beatnik way, where you snap at the end, you know. And she also, so throughout the song, she doesn't hit a whole lot of notes, but at the very end, she, excuse me, at the very end, she does. She hits, I believe, it's a humming high note, or she hits a high note, and it cascades down a little bit, but she does a really good job throughout the song. And that high note at the end kind of just brings it all together, because she does it a couple of times. And so if you ever get a chance to hear that song, Bring Me Home, I don't, again, just like the last one, Be That Easy, it does have some acoustics to it, just like Be That Easy, but I don't really think that there is a specific way to listen to this one either. With all Sade's music, if you do have vinyl, is one of the best ways. If you can hear a live, that's even better. So Bring Me Home is a nice song, starting to get towards the end of the album. In Another Time is another song that's kind of like a folk song. It's more of a slow R&B type song, blues or jazz, etc. In Another Time, Girl, your tears won't leave a trace. In Another Time, Girl, in another place. You know, the lyrics are wonderful throughout the song. Again, she doesn't go up and down a huge amount of time, a huge amount within the song, but it's a very beautifully laid track. She sings it very well. And she doesn't have to project in this song either. But she's very crystal clear in each of the notes that she hits. And so In Another Time is very nice, beautiful song. The next one after In Another Time is Skin. And I believe this song, I believe she's talking in song Skin about a breakup. In fact, I believe the lyric goes something about, now as I begin to wash you off my skin, I'm going to peel you away because you're not right within. So, it's finally over. So after all this time, all these struggles, she's using that as, I don't know if it's necessarily a metaphor or specifically how she's using it, but she's describing basically a relationship that's over and she's got to move on. So she has to wash her skin of it. She has to wash her hands away. She has to move away and move on. She thought about it. She, went through the emotions with it. Now she has to move on. And again, this song is more of a folk song, more of a laid back song. So it's not really fast. It's not super slow either, but it plays out really nicely. Again, she's not having to go up and down with her notes. So she's able to really tell you the story. Really, it gives you that beatnik vibe. And she's really able to tell you that story. And so it fits really, really nicely in this new direction that the album and her band is going. The next song after Skin is The Safest Place. It's a very slow song. This song is a very slow song. I believe it's got picked guitar, and a violin in it playing. And so she talks about being in the safest place, exactly how the lyrics are. It says, I believe she starts off with, in my heart, your love has found the safest hiding place. Inside is a field and trees and a lake. So she's talking about love in a relationship, love in a family. And she's giving images, she's giving in-depth feel to it. And so again, this is another song that she doesn't have to use acrobats with her voice. She just sings it to you as a story, and it's very nice. It's a very excellent way to end the album. There is no specific way to listen to this song. It is acoustic, so if you do have something that has better acoustic sound for that in-depth feel, definitely listen to it on that. Now, the last one is Sade, The Ultimate Collection, because, again, this is a greatest hits. There hasn't been any additional albums since then. She's had a few other singles. I believe one of them was called, I believe one of them was called Flowers of the Universe or something. But it hasn't been released as an album. It has been released as a single. And so on her last Ultimate Collection that she did, she had some remixes of The Moon and Sky. She also had some, as well as a remix, By Your Side, the Neptunes remix. She also had another song that she hadn't released on an album, and that was I would never have guessed. And she sings that with the male singer. Very lovely when they sing it together. I have heard that. I've heard that live. I believe I remember hearing that live. But it's a song that she hadn't released on an album. And it flows very, very nicely. It would go really, really good on a new Sade CD. So if Sade's listening, that would be an excellent song to listen to on a brand new CD. I bet it would fit right away. It doesn't have a whole lot of acoustics in it, actually, and it's almost an a cappella. And I believe it's the only thing it has is slow piano throughout it. But if that's a way that Sade is intending to go to potentially sing maybe a song or two in a cappella, by all means, she has that voice. She has a strong enough voice for it. And so, and her band's great. So she can do it. Um, so with that being said, we have went through all the way the first four albums, Life, Promise, Pride, and Love, as well as the Sade, Best of Sade, Lovers Rock and Lovers Live, as well as Soldier of Love, and now Sade, the Ultimate Collection. If you get a chance to pick any of one of these up or all of them up, she does have a new release that's on vinyl, and it's This Far. Come This Far or This Far. And if you're able to pick that up, do it, because it's got all of her music on it on vinyl. And that is the best way overall, hands down, to listen to a Sade album. Sade music is vinyl, because of that in-depth of music. That acoustic sound really comes out beautifully, as well as her voice. You know, her voice comes out beautifully with the acoustics, and that's the best way. Of course, truly the best way is just to hear her live. If you ever get a chance to hear her live, it'll be the best concert, if not one of the best concerts that you've ever been to. She gives it her all. She sings throughout it, so there's no auto-tuning. There's no, oh, I'm getting feedback. She's not holding on to her ear. She is singing and belting out the whole time. She has a lovely voice, and she definitely knows how to use it, and she gives you a show each time. So if you get a chance to hear her live, that is the best way to hear her. And that concludes another Jamblast podcast. I will definitely come back to Sade and do maybe some individual reviews of each of her albums. I'm really excited about some of the upcoming reviews and things that I'll be reviewing and putting out. One of those is going to be, of course, one of the greatest musicians of all time, Mr. Michael Jackson. So be sure to be looking out for that podcast when it comes out. Podcast or video, I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do that, but I definitely want to go through all of those albums, as I do have, as being a fan of Mr. Michael Jackson himself. I will go back to Miss Janet Jackson as well, once I go through each of her albums and give more in depth and possibly even more information. A lot of my information it comes from knowledge, whether it be in part of the fan club or while I worked in the music store, music movie industry for a while. So that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from, as well as just my own personal feel. So if you ever get a chance to listen to back to Sade, do so. If this review helped you out, take a look. Again, my favorite album is Sade Promise. All of her albums are excellent though. But Sade Promise, man, it's got my favorite song on it. It's called Maureen, and which I stated in the previous podcast. If you get a chance to listen to them, please do so. And with that being said, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless.